Lauryn Hill recently drops a bombshell on music industry, exposing the insidious undercurrents of corruption and exploitation that plague the world of entertainment. Also, revealing the way they made endlessly attempts to use her as a sacrifice in quenching their thirst for fame and profit. Better in shadows than spotlight, something that has seemed so difficult to do has finally been made possible, as Lauryn openly splits the atrocities that has been going on in the entertainment industry and the way it made her run away from the spotlight in the previous years. There has been considerable speculation surrounding Lauryn, suggesting that she may have been a victim of a sacrificial act orchestrated by certain influential figures within Hollywood. Allegedly, her politically charged music and speeches did not sit well with these higher-ups, rendering her a prime target for what some refer to as Hollyweird sacrifices. According to Lauryn, the music industry serves as a microcosm of broader societal dynamics. Thus, whenever an individual advocates for truth and goodness, they inevitably encounter resistance. This phenomenon is not confined to the music sector, but extends to various industries, including other sectors that is not music. When one stands firm in their commitment to truth and the service of others, they may face challenges. During an interview, Lauryn said, "Personally, I recognize that generating income through self-indulgent music is relatively straightforward. I could easily create records that primarily serve to promote myself. However, I have come to understand at the age of 25 that my true purpose lies in serving others. It is essential to acknowledge that not everyone has reached this level of awareness in their journey. Consequently, there may be feelings of anger or resentment when one raises the bar and garners attention for their message, particularly when it reflects the negativity and self-serving tendencies prevalent in the industry." This context is reminiscent of the time when Lauryn delivered her well-known critique of the Catholic Church during the Christmas concert at the Vatican. In 2003, Lauryn delivered a shocking performance that caught the audience off guard. She revealed that her acceptance of the invitation was motivated by a desire to protest the numerous scandals that had plagued the church. From the stage, she expressed her discontent, stating, "I apologize if I offend anyone, but I did not come here to celebrate the birth of Christ. Instead, I question why there is no mourning for him in this sacred space." She proceeded to confront church leaders regarding their corruption and the exploitation of their followers, urging them to repent. This impassioned speech lasted several minutes, and despite facing significant backlash, Lauryn remained resolute in her stance. Many observers perceived her actions as erratic, speculating that she might have been under the influence of substances. The fallout from her remarks severely impacted her career, leading to her being blackballed in the industry, a fate not unfamiliar to artists who have criticized the Catholic Church, as evidenced by Sinead O'Connor's own controversies. Some attributed Lauryn's behavior to her growing association with Brother Anthony, a controversial spiritual figure she met in 2001. Friends of Lauryn expressed concern that Brother Anthony was exerting undue influence over her as she began to withdraw from public life, cease interviews, and abandon her usual appearance. She became increasingly involved in meetings and Bible studies organized by him, attending 5 times a week while distancing herself from her friends. The situation escalated when she dismissed her entire team, a move many believed was orchestrated by Brother Anthony. According to sources close to her, Lauryn's friends felt that he was exploiting her vulnerable state, encouraging her to relinquish her financial independence, isolate herself, and sever ties with those who cared for her. Despite the various perspectives surrounding the events in Lauryn's life, some individuals maintain that the adverse occurrences could have been averted had those closest to her provided the necessary support. In fact, it appears that Lauryn herself perceives her situation as a deliberate sacrifice orchestrated by her inner circle. In a 2004 interview with Trace magazine, she articulated her account of the chaotic dynamics in her relationships, specifically highlighting the aggressive and controlling nature of Wyclef Jean. She suggested that he sought to manipulate her, framing the Fugees' environment as one of conspiracy aimed at fostering dependency. Lauryn recounted enduring significant abuse that many would find intolerable, reflecting on her youthful optimism that blinded her to the underlying lust and insecurities of men. Furthermore, Pross took a critical stance towards Wyclef, attributing the turmoil within the group and Lauryn's struggles to his influence, labeling him as the cancer of the Fugees. When questioned about Wyclef's role in Lauryn's difficulties, Pross acknowledged a possible connection, albeit indirectly, revealing his reluctance to fully disclose his thoughts while still conveying his dissatisfaction with Wyclef's actions towards Lauryn. In 2021, Lauryn Hill participated in an interview for the Rolling Stone podcast dedicated to the 500 greatest albums, during which she discussed her decision to withdraw from the public eye in order to safeguard herself and her family from the pervasive negativity and detrimental influences present in the music industry. She expressed, "I sacrificed the quality of my life to enable others to experience something that had previously seemed unattainable. When I observed individuals struggling to recognize the effort involved, I realized I needed to retreat to ensure the well-being and safety of myself and my family. I continue to prioritize this." Hill further remarked that celebrity status often resembles a form of sacrifice, akin to a fatted calf, where individuals are confined and subjected to severe scrutiny for their natural reactions to extraordinary situations. Many fans interpreted her comments as an indication that she had encountered unsettling experiences within the industry, prompting her to exit the limelight in a bid for self-preservation. This raises the question of public perception regarding Lauryn Hill's journey through the music industry. Do you believe she was targeted by influential figures, or did she simply experience a decline in her career? Let's know more by taking a step back. Early days of her career. Lauryn started her career during her freshman year in high school. Precazrel Pross Michel, through shared acquaintances, reached out to Lauryn Hill regarding a music group he was forming. The duo initially adopted the name Translator Crew, reflecting their aspiration to incorporate rhymes in various languages. Shortly thereafter, a female vocalist was substituted with Michelle's cousin, the versatile musician Wyclef Jean. The ensemble began to showcase their talents at local events and high school competitions. Initially, Hill focused solely on singing. However, she later expanded her repertoire to include rapping. Rather than emulating female artists such as Salt and Peppa and MC Lyte, she drew inspiration from male rappers like Ice Cube, which influenced her unique flow. Hill reminisced, stating, "I remember doing my homework in the bathroom stalls of hip-hop clubs." During her formative years, Hill dedicated herself to honing her craft by pursuing acting lessons in the vibrant and competitive environment of Manhattan. This commitment to her passion for performance laid the groundwork for her future endeavors in the entertainment industry. In 1991, she took a significant step in her acting journey by making her debut in a unique production titled Club 12. This off-Broadway show was a hip-hop adaptation of Shakespeare's classic play Twelfth Night and was produced by the renowned rapper MC Lyte. Although Club 12 did not achieve the commercial success that many had hoped for, it did manage to capture the attention of a talent agent, which would prove to be a pivotal moment in Hill's career. Later that same year, Hill's talent was recognized when she secured a recurring role on the popular soap opera As the World Turns. In this role, she portrayed Kira Johnson, a troubled teenager grappling with the complexities of adolescence. Her performance resonated with audiences and showcased her ability to bring depth and authenticity to her characters. Hill's career continued to flourish as she landed a co-starring role alongside the legendary Whoopi Goldberg in the 1993 film Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. In this beloved sequel, she played the character Rita Louise Watson, a rebellious teenager attending an inner-city Catholic school. This role not only allowed Hill to demonstrate her acting prowess, but also showcased her impressive vocal talents. She performed several memorable songs in the film, including the powerful duet, His Eye is on the Sparrow, which she sang alongside Tanya Blount, as well as the uplifting anthem, Joyful, Joyful. These performances not only highlighted her versatility as an artist, but also endeared her to audiences, marking her place in the entertainment industry. Director Bill Duke recognized the significant impact that Lauryn Hill had on a particular scene by improvising a rap, highlighting her creativity and talent. He remarked, "None of that was scripted. That was all Lauryn. She was amazing," underscoring the spontaneous brilliance she brought to the project. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert also took note of Hill's exceptional abilities, referring to her as the girl with the big, joyful voice. However, he expressed a sentiment that her remarkable talent was not fully utilized in the film, suggesting that there was more potential that could have been explored. In contrast, the publication Rolling Stone offered a more favorable assessment of Hill's performance, commending her for performing marvelously against type in what they described as an otherwise perfunctory film. This acknowledgement speaks to Hill's versatility as an actress, as she was able to transcend the limitations of the role and deliver a memorable performance that stood out amidst a lackluster production. Furthermore, Hill's acting prowess was showcased in a minor yet impactful role in Steven Soderbergh's 1993 film, King of the Hill. In this film, she portrayed a gum-chewing elevator operator from the 1930s, a character that, while not central to the plot, contributed to the film's overall warmth and charm. Jason Wood, a biographer of Soderbergh, noted that Hill's performance in this role resulted in one of the film's warmest scenes, illustrating her ability to leave a lasting impression even in smaller parts. In addition to her burgeoning acting career, Lauryn Hill completed her education at Columbia High School in 1993, marking an important milestone in her life as she balanced her academic pursuits with her artistic endeavors. This combination of education and talent later served as a foundation for her multifaceted career in music and film. After leaving high school, Lauryn took an unexpected turn in her life. Road to motherhood and successful career. Pras, Hill, and Jean chose the name Fugees for their group, deriving it from the term refugee, which had been used pejoratively towards Haitian Americans. During this period, Hill entered into a romantic relationship with Jean. The Fugees secured a contract with Columbia Rough House Records in 1993 and gained recognition for their innovative fusion of genres, particularly reggae, rock, and soul. This experimentation was first showcased in their debut album, Blunted on Reality, released in 1994. Although the album peaked at number 62 on the Billboard Top R and B Hip Hop Albums chart, it experienced poor sales and received unfavorable critical reviews, largely due to the management's pressure to adopt a gangsta rap persona. In spite of its limited success, Hill's performance on the track Some Seek Stardom was noted as a standout moment. Within the group, she was often affectionately called El Boogie. Hill's distinctive image and artistry, combined with her rich, raspy alto voice, positioned her as the leading figure of the band, prompting some fans to encourage her to pursue a solo career. The Fugees' sophomore album, The Score, released in 1996, achieved the remarkable feat of reaching the #1 position on the US Billboard 200 chart, maintaining a presence in the top 10 for over 6 months. The album's sales figures are impressive, with approximately 7 million copies sold in the United States alone and over 20 million copies sold globally. In the 1996 Pats and Jop Critics poll, The Score was ranked as the second best album, with 3 of its singles making it into the top 20 best singles list. The album received the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album and was subsequently featured in Rolling Stone's compilation of the 500 greatest albums of all time. The Score was lauded for its strong alternative to the prevailing gangsta rap narrative, with Hill articulating the group's intention to promote positivity through their music, stating, "We're trying to do something positive with the music because it seems like only the negative is rising to the top these days. It only takes a drop of purity to clean a cesspool." The singles released by The Score, such as Fuji La and Ready or Not, showcased Hill's exceptional talents in both singing and rapping, alongside a cover of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. Notably, her interpretation of Killing Me Softly emerged as the group's defining success. This track, supported by what Rolling Stone later described as Hill's evocative vocal delivery and her amazing pipes, achieved widespread airplay across pop, R&B, hip-hop, and adult contemporary radio stations. It garnered the Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. Throughout the album, Hill skillfully blended influences from African American and Caribbean music, accompanied by lyrics that reflect social consciousness. Newsweek highlighted Hill's irresistibly cute looks and hailed her as the most powerful new voice in rap. At the age of 21, Hill resided with her parents. During this time, she was a student at Columbia University, contemplating a major in history as she progressed into her sophomore year. However, she departed from her studies after approximately 1 year, following the remarkable sales success of her album, The Score, which reached millions. In 1996, Hill addressed a false allegation on The Howard Stern Show regarding a purported racist remark she made on MTV, asserting, "How can I possibly be a racist? My music is universal, and I believe in God. If I believe in God, then I have to love all of God's creations. There can be no segregation." By 1996, Hill established the Refugee Project, a nonprofit organization aimed at altering the perceptions and behaviors of at-risk urban youth. A component of this initiative was Camp Hill, which provided opportunities for these young individuals to spend time in the Catskill Mountains. Additionally, the project organized an annual Halloween haunted house in East Orange. Hill also engaged in fundraising efforts for Haitian refugees, supported the construction of clean water wells in Kenya and Uganda, and organized a rap concert in Harlem to encourage voter registration. A benefit event in 1997 for the Refugee Project led to the formation of a board of trustees that included notable figures such as Sean Combs, Mariah Carey, Busta Rhymes, and Spike Lee, among others. Unfortunately, that same 1997, the Fugees disbanded to pursue individual projects, a decision that Gene later attributed to his turbulent relationship with Hill and his marriage to Claudinette, which occurred while he was still romantically involved with Hill. During the summer of 1996, Hill met Rohan Marley, the son of Bob Marley and a former football player at the University of Miami. She subsequently entered into a relationship with Marley while still maintaining her connection with Gene. By late 1996, Hill was expecting a child, and on August 3, 1997, she gave birth to their first son, Zion David. After this, the couple resided in Hill's childhood home in South Orange after she purchased a new house for her parents nearby. Hill made a brief appearance in the 1997 film Have Plenty. In 1998, she took on another minor yet significant role in the film Restaurant, where her performance as the protagonist's pregnant ex-girlfriend was lauded by Entertainment Weekly for adding vitality to the film. Amongst all Lauryn's albums, one particular album stood out for a remarkable reason: The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill recorded her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, between late 1997 and June 1998 at Tuff Gong Studios in Jamaica. The album's title draws inspiration from Carter G. Woodson's 1933 work, The Miseducation of the Negro, as well as from The Education of Sonny Carson, which encompasses both a film and an autobiographical narrative. Notable contributions to the album came from artists such as D'Angelo, Carlos Santana, Mary J. Blige, and the then unknown John Legend. At first, Wyclef Jean was opposed to Hill pursuing a solo project. However, he later offered his assistance in production, which Hill ultimately declined. The album features several tracks that express Hill's discontent with her experiences in the Fugees, particularly I Used to Love Him, which reflects the deterioration of her relationship with Wyclef Jean. Additionally, songs like To Zion articulate her choice to have her first child, Zion David Marley, despite external pressures advocating for an abortion to safeguard her emerging career. Notably, Hill's pregnancy served as a catalyst, helping her overcome a period of writer's block. In the dynamic and often challenging world of music production, Lauryn Hill found herself deeply immersed in a collaborative environment with a group of talented artists known as Newark. This collective included notable figures such as Vada Nobles, Rasheem Pugh, Tejamal Newton, and Johari Newton, each contributing their unique skills and perspectives to the creative process. Hill's artistic vision was clear. She sought to craft songs that resonated with her on a profound lyrical level, drawing inspiration from a diverse array of musical genres. She aimed to blend the soulful essence of reggae, the infectious rhythms of hip-hop, and the rich instrumentation characteristic of classic soul music. In her pursuit of authenticity, Hill was determined to create an album that conveyed a raw, unrefined sound, consciously steering away from the overly polished, computer-generated aesthetics that had become prevalent in the industry. This desire for a genuine musical experience was not merely a stylistic choice. It was a reflection of her artistic integrity and commitment to her craft. However, Hill faced significant pressure from her record label, which urged her to emulate the artistic model of the legendary Prince. This model emphasized the importance of individual artistry, where all compositions were credited solely to the artist, minimizing the role of external collaborators. Hill's aspiration to be recognized as an auteur, similar to the esteemed status held by Jean in the Fugees, was a driving force behind her creative decisions. She sought to assert her identity and vision in an industry that often marginalized female artists. Amidst these challenges, Hill also confronted the pervasive sexism within the music industry. She candidly acknowledged the obstacles she faced, stating, "But step out and try and control things. And there are doubts. This is a very industry. They'll never throw the genius title to a sister." This statement underscored her awareness of the gender biases that often undermine women's contributions to music and creativity. During the recording process, Hill's approach to collaboration was rooted in a deep sense of community and mutual respect. When asked about the necessity of formal contracts or documentation for the musicians involved, she responded with a heartfelt sentiment. "We all love each other. This ain't about documents. This is blessed." This perspective highlighted her belief in the power of genuine relationships and shared artistic vision, prioritizing emotional connections over legal formalities in the pursuit of creating meaningful music. In summary, Lauryn Hill's journey through music production with Newark was marked by her quest for authenticity, her desire to challenge industry norms, and her commitment. The album was released on August 25, 1998, and it garnered widespread acclaim from music critics of the time, establishing itself as the most celebrated album of that year. Critics praised its innovative fusion of R&B, doo-wop, pop, hip-hop, and reggae, as well as its authentic portrayal of women's experiences and relationships. David Brown, in his review for Entertainment Weekly, described it as an album of often astonishing power, strength, and feeling, commending Hill for her seamless transition between singing and rapping, which both honored the past and paved the way for her unique future. Robert Christgau humorously remarked that it was the PC record of the year, noting the gentle nature of the songs, the ordinary quality of the singing, the skillful rapping, the varied rhymes, the excessive skits, and the subtle yet impressive production. In 2017, NPR recognized the album as the second best album ever produced by a female artist. In its inaugural week, the album achieved sales of approximately 423,000 copies, a figure significantly enhanced by the prior radio exposure of two singles not officially endorsed by the label, namely Lost Ones and Can't Take My Eyes Off You. It secured the top position on the Billboard 200 for a duration of 4 weeks and dominated the Billboard R&B albums chart for 6 weeks. Ultimately, the album reached total sales of around 10 million copies in the United States and 20 million copies globally. Between 1998 and 1999, Hill generated $25 million through record sales and concert tours. Alongside artists such as Bleach, Missy Elliott, Michelle Ndegeocello, and Erykah Badu, Hill played a pivotal role in the emergence of the neo-soul genre. The inaugural single from the album was Doo-Wop, meaning that thing, which made its debut at the top position on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. This track illustrated Hill's widespread appeal, merging themes of self-empowerment with a sense of self-defense. Additional singles from the album that achieved chart success included X Factor, which has been sampled by artists such as Drake and Cardi B, along with Everything Is Everything and To Zion, a glimpse of her achievements. In November 1998, Hill welcomed her second child, Cella Louise, with Marley. Reflecting on her experience as a young mother of two, Hill remarked, "It's not an easy situation at all. You have to really pray and be honest with yourself." As the 1999 Grammy Awards approached, Hill made history by becoming the first woman to receive nominations in 10 categories within a single year. Her nominations encompassed works from Miseducation, as well as her performance of Can't Take My Eyes Off You for the 1997 film Conspiracy Theory, which had charted on Billboard, and her contributions as a writer and producer for A Rose Is Still a Rose, a late career success for Aretha Franklin. Hill graced the covers of numerous prominent magazines such as Time, Esquire, Rolling Stone, Teen People, and the New York Times Fashion magazine. During the awards ceremony, she achieved a historic milestone by becoming the first woman to secure 5 awards in a single night, winning Album of the Year, Best R&B Album, Best R&B Song, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, and Best New Artist. In her acceptance speech, she remarked, "This is crazy. This is hip-hop." Hill played a pivotal role in fostering a broader acceptance of hip-hop within mainstream culture. In February 1999, Hill garnered 4 accolades at the 30th Annual NAACP Image Awards. By May of the same year, she was recognized as the youngest woman to be included in Ebony magazine's list of 100+ most influential Black Americans. Later, in November, the publication honored her as one of the 10 for Tomorrow in its Ebony 2000 special Millennium issue. Additionally, in May 1999, she was featured in People magazine's list of the 50 most beautiful people. The publication that referred to her as Model Gorgeous commended Hill, who stands at 5 feet 4 inches 1.63 m, for her distinctive personal style. In June 1999, she was honored with an Essence Award. However, her acceptance speech, in which she articulated that there was no conflict between religious love and servitude, and emphasized the importance of being who you are, as fly and as hot and as whatever, elicited criticism from segments of the public who questioned her suitability as a role model, particularly given her status as a young, unwed mother of 2. This backlash echoed previous criticisms she faced following the birth of her first child, despite her assertions that she and Marley would soon marry. In early 2000, Hill contributed as a producer to the Grammy Award-winning Album of the Year for Santana's 1999 blockbuster Supernatural, on which she wrote, produced, and rapped the track Do You Like the Way, a reflection on societal issues that also featured CeeLo Green's vocals and Carlos Santana's iconic guitar riffs. Additionally, she received a nomination for Best R&B Song for All That I Can Say, which she penned and produced for Mary J. Blige. Furthermore, her collaboration with Bob Marley on Turn Your Lights Down Low for the 1999 remix tribute album Chant Down Babylon was included in the film The Best Man, and subsequently garnered a Grammy nomination for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. Who would have believed that this very woman who won several awards also faced shocking phases of her life? Lawsuits and legal battle. In November 1998, Newark initiated a lawsuit comprising 50 pages against Lauryn Hill, her management team, and her record label, alleging that Hill utilized their musical compositions and production expertise without providing appropriate acknowledgement for their contributions to the album Miseducation. The musicians asserted that they were the principal songwriters for 2 tracks, and significant contributors to several others. However, Gordon Williams, a notable recording engineer and mixer for Miseducation, characterized the album as a deeply personal endeavor by Hill, emphasizing that it was unequivocally her vision. In response, Hill contended that Newark had received due credit and accused them of attempting to exploit her newfound success. Newark sought partial songwriting credits for the majority of the album's tracks, along with financial compensation. Following numerous delays, depositions were conducted in the latter part of 2000. This legal dispute highlighted the complex distinctions between songwriting and the various elements involved in modern arrangement, sampling, and recording processes. Ultimately, the lawsuit was resolved out of court in February 2001, with Hill reportedly compensating Newark $5 million. A close associate of Hill remarked that the lawsuit marked the onset of a series of events that would lead to considerable turmoil. This was not the only challenges Lauryn faced, as she was embodied with greater one: mental struggles and imprisonment. A 2003 article in Rolling Stone disclosed that Lauryn declined roles in several major films, including Charlie's Angels, The Bourne Identity, The Mexican, and The Matrix. At this juncture, it appeared that the pressures associated with her success were taking a toll on her mental health. She expressed the difficulty of navigating the transition from a private individual to one subjected to public scrutiny, emphasizing the challenges of living under constant observation. A friend shared with Rolling Stone that Lauryn Hill developed a profound aversion to the persona she had created as an international superstar, rather than to her true self. This aversion stemmed from the pressures of maintaining an image that prevented her from appearing authentically, even on days when she felt less than perfect. Following her significant success, Lauryn placed immense expectations on herself, leading to a pivotal moment when she decided to reject that pressure. In 2001, during the recording of her MTV Unplugged 2.0, she openly acknowledged her struggles with mental health. Although the project did not achieve commercial success, those who engaged with it noted that it offered a more intimate glimpse into her emotional state. At one point in the performance, Lauryn is heard expressing her distress, stating, "I'm crazy and deranged. I'm emotionally unstable. I used to dress for you all, but I no longer do that. I used to identify as a performer, but I no longer see myself that way." She articulated the conflict between her public persona and her authentic self, describing it as a form of captivity that hindered her ability to live genuinely due to fear of public judgment. This revelation led many to question how Lauryn transitioned from the poised and sophisticated artist behind the miseducation of Lauryn Hill to a vulnerable individual struggling to maintain composure in the studio. Observers often linked her decline to her chaotic romantic life, particularly her relationship with Wyclef Jean, who later suggested that their relationship contributed to the disbandment of the Fugees, creating significant behind-the-scenes tension. Even after marrying Claudinette, Wyclef reportedly continued to engage with Lauryn, further complicating the dynamics of their relationship. It is evident that PR was dissatisfied with the relationship, which is a significant point to consider. However, Lef also attempted to portray Lauryn as the primary cause of their relationship's instability. According to him, the relationship was toxic, and he claimed that Lauryn often resorted to physical aggression during their disputes. In his autobiography, Wyclef recounted instances of intense confrontations, stating, "We had huge fights, and a few times when it escalated, she started swinging at me right there in the seats. People would scatter. We never got arrested, but we came close a few times in Europe." This suggests that the altercations were quite severe, to the extent that the possibility of arrest was imminent. Nevertheless, what resonated with fans was Wyclef's failure to acknowledge his own contribution to Lauryn's struggles. He solely attributed the issues to her, framing her as unstable. The situation echoes Dave Chappelle's commentary on Hollywood's tendency to label individuals as crazy when they challenge the prevailing norms. Similar fates befell figures like Cat Williams, Taryn Manning, and Rose McGowan, illustrating that dissenting voices often face severe repercussions from industry gatekeepers. On May 6, 2013, Judge Arleo imposed a sentence of 3 months imprisonment on Hill for her failure to file taxes and for tax fraud, followed by an additional 3 months of house arrest as part of a year-long supervised probation period. Although she faced a potential maximum sentence of 36 months, the court considered her lack of prior criminal offenses and her responsibility for 6 minor children when determining the sentence. At that time, Hill had already repaid a total of $970,000 in back taxes and penalties, which included an additional $500,000 in unreported income from the years 2008 and 2009. During the court proceedings, Hill expressed that she had lived very modestly in light of the substantial income she had generated for others, stating, "I am a child of former slaves who had a system imposed on them. I had an economic system imposed on me." Subsequently, Hill reported to the minimum security federal correctional institution in Danbury on July 8, 2013, to commence her sentence. Hill was granted early release from prison on October 4, 2013, due to her good behavior, and subsequently entered into home confinement and probation. During her incarceration, she completed a single titled Consumerism, which she released through verbal and email instructions. Judge Arleo permitted her to defer a portion of her confinement to allow her to embark on a tour in late 2013, which was under stringent conditions. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.